Shalom, it's the time, hit the mic, realign, Torah flow so divine, got the grind by design, from the shtetl to the limelight, stars in the scene, schmoozing pride, bringing dreams, keep the kosher clean. Schmoozing time, where the real ones meet, Jewish pride, beats hit, can't retreat, personal brands leveled up, take the stage, schmoozing vibe, wisdom out the cage, bagels and beats, mix the sacred with the streets, meshing hustle with mitzvahs, making
Well,
moves.
Schmoozers, welcome back to another episode of Schmoozing Time. I'm your host, David Cobby, and we're back with another guest. Second time I'm interviewing this man, and second time I'm doing it in person. I don't know how he finessed his way to doing that. I've only had another guest on one time, so means it was a pretty good episode. So we're back here in Baltimore. Last time I went to his home base. Now we're back here in Baltimore, but he's doing amazing things, guys. He's a few months into building what is going to be the best coffee company that will ever exist.
There we go.
And he's here to schmooze with us again today. So welcome, Justin Yehuda, founder of Iron Dome Coffee. How are we doing?
Thank you, DK. It's great to be back.
Love having you back. I mean, I'm not really doing this by choice, kind of forced to do this. Like Justin's like, hey, I'm coming down to Baltimore. I'm like, all right, like guess we gotta have another interview. But in all seriousness, I think since last time we did the interview, we've definitely gotten a lot closer, and we talk all the time now, which is great. I ask him about business and how stuff's going. So we'll start with that. Like, if you had to give since we last spoke, I think it was you were launching your company, I think that Monday or something.
Wow, that's crazy.
And now he's getting 40 orders a day. So tell us how things are going.
Things are great. I mean, it's really unbelievable what's happened since I launched. I'm learning by the day. People kind of discount the learning. But it's true. I mean, when you run your own company, you learn by the minute. I'm basically learning a new software every day and learning how to gear it towards making the business successful. So that part's been really fun. And it's really unbelievable. Ever since I started running Facebook ads, meta ads in particular, I mean, it's just been unbelievable. I'm honestly completely shocked by the success that they've had, and I'm just trying to keep pushing it forward.
It's awesome, man. So, a lot of this podcast is Jewish identity and personal branding. That's the essence of this podcast. So, you look at your business and it's very Israel centric. And yes, you are working with the Jewish community, like 99% of the time, would you say? Like,
yes, but it's also a little surprising. We have gotten a lot of love from non-Jews.
Interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I figured there would be some, outpouring of love there, but it's definitely been more than I originally anticipated. We've covered almost every state in the country already. Like, It's really nuts. And a fairly respectable like a fairly large and respectable portion of that come from Christian Zionists, come from political Zionists. It's really cool to see. But yeah, mostly definitely, I would say that at least 3/4 of the buyers are Jewish. Yeah.
Okay. So your Jewish identity before, I know we were talking about like what it means to be a proud Jew, and you were talking about like it was one of our clips. So how can you forget that? So I guess, how's your Jewish identity changed in these couple of months?
It's a good question. How has my Jewish identity changed? The biggest thing for me is that I grew up going to, Jewish school, and certain things you almost take for granted. I know it sounds cheesy, but it's not really cheesy to me. Like you go in that idea of community being emphasized everywhere you look. It becomes almost redundant and silly when you hear it a billion times in your ear as a kid.
Right.
But then you grow up, right? And now I'm an adult. I'm out here running my own company. I'm like really an adult, and I get to decide what my life will look like on my own. And, even there are minor examples. Like when I came down here, I've been here since Wednesday, and first of all, the DMV feels like home. I keep telling you this, man. The DMV is home, man. DMV is home. And I just love it here. And one of the reasons why I love it is because seeing all of the different Jewish communities that I've been able to get in contact with here since I've shown up even a couple days ago, it's unbelievable to remind myself of how strong the Jewish community is and the broader pro-Israel communities in general, especially in comparison to other groups that I've been a part of any other identity.
Right.
And I would say that I've almost kind of looked back at things that I used to view as redundant and silly, and I say, you know what? Like, no, the beauty of the community is evident everywhere you look, and that's just a big observation that I've made. So I feel incredibly proud to be Jewish on a daily basis, as I have since I was born. Really, that's really a key feature of my identity. But now when I see other people and just the unbelievable lengths to which they're willing to go to help me, expecting nothing in return, is unbelievably representative of what I feel like all of humanity should embrace, which is looking at another person and offering them something without expecting anything in return. That to me is the best type of community you could ever be a part of. So getting to see that on a daily basis is unbelievably inspiring, and it makes me feel really just personally fulfilled every second of every day. I really have never been happier in my life. Seriously.
I know last time we talked, you literally said, I think it was in regards to like, what does it mean to be a proud Jew? It was like giving without expecting anything in return.
See, this man
and now
watched the clips.
And now it's, I think I know a little bit about this interview. I don't know. And it's kind of just like a full circle moment for you where you're, not that you didn't reap the benefits before, but it's like people genuinely want to help your company grow and order your coffee and do all that. So I think it's cool that like you're now experiencing kind of what you said, and you kind of intended for that to be for yourself, right? You were saying, I want to give and not get anything in return. But now it's like, not that you're not giving, but you're putting out coffee, and you're not expecting everybody to buy the coffee, but people are not only buying the coffee, they're also helping you in return, right? Like all these influencers that you got on.
Yeah. Absolutely. That was probably the favorite clip that we even had from our previous interview, because it's so, I want to use the words existentially relevant. I'm not trying to be fancy with it. But
those are big words.
No, but I think that's exactly.
Can you give me a definition of that?
Well, it's just everybody is living and encountering these things, and it's important whether you consider it or not. So I think it's in your best interest to consider it.
Okay.
And for me, it's like, okay, what does it mean to be Jewish, right? These are things that you can almost observe in any Jewish person's life, and you could pick out their answer through evidence, through how they live their life. And everyone could give their answer and say nice words to a camera or to a microphone, but it doesn't really matter. And to me, it's like, what is my approach to that? It's something that I answered before, but I think about it all the time. And for me, I try to be as aware of certain things as possible. Like I was born Jewish, right? And I feel like I was lucky to be born in a community that really does look after each other. And it's not a cliche or a stereotype, nothing like that.
Right.
It's something that you can analyze empirically to be true. And at least for me in my life, when I'm considering, hey, I'm trying to grow this company, and I'm trying to really put myself as into this company as I can possibly do. And what are the certain things that I would like to give to people, knowing that this is who I am, and I was, born Jewish, grew up in the Jewish community, and there are certain things that were I would say destined for me since from birth, right? In terms of like, this is my identity. But remember, like I said earlier, a lot of my audience is not necessarily Jewish. And I think that's a wonderful thing that people are connecting with Israel for a multitude of different reasons. So what is one thing that I'd like to give to the entire community, right? And for me, it's that I think that what it means to be Jewish to me, and I'm speaking to just really anybody who's listening, anybody who would want to listen, is that for me, being Jewish, being born Jewish, what is something that I could convey to an audience that might be Jewish or might not be Jewish? It's to give without expecting in return. I've recently been delving deep into different philosophical things, and one of them was a story that I learned when I was younger. I forgot who it was, but they said, a quick summary is to say, can you summarize the entire Torah while you're on one leg? And it says, right. It's laughable because you remember that story from when you're younger. But what about people who don't know that story, right? They don't know where I'm going with this. And they're going to say, okay, how do you summarize the Torah in one line? And they would say, okay, well, the rabbi stood on one leg and said, do to others what you would wish to be done to you, right? Treat others how you'd like to be treated, right? And that's the golden rule. But when you think of that rule, a lot of the times people think of it in a negative context. Don't steal from them. Don't do negative things to them. Don't be mean to them, because you wouldn't want to be experiencing those things on the other end.
Yeah.
But one thing that people always neglect, which I find to be wrong, is that you don't think of it in a positive context. What if you treated somebody with love? What if you treated somebody with kindness? What if you gave to them without expecting in return? And for me, I delve really deeply into Stoic philosophy, and that's also the golden rule there. And you see in a whole bunch of other ideas, that's the golden rule ever with everyone. That's the most golden rule ever. And I think that when you consider treat people the way you want to be treated, we tend to think of it in a non-negative context. Don't treat people harshly. But what if you treated people with kindness? What if you went out of your way to be, stereotypically protagonistic? And I think it's a nice thing. You can be the protagonist and be kind, and there's nothing cheesy or corny about it.
Yeah.
It's actually what's emblematic of our community and what I'd like to be emblematic of the Iron Dome community in general.
I love that. Wow, this got philosophical pretty quickly. I didn't expect for that. No, I'm kidding. This guy's Mr. Philosophy professor.
Mr. Falafel.
Not Mr. Falafel. On the subject of, I guess, Jewish content, and you're spewing Jewish content here, your account is very based on Israel, right? Israel is obviously the homeland for the Jewish people, but I'd also add is also the homeland for other religions as well. Some people forget that, and 21% of Israel's population is Arab, so you have to take that into account. But Jewish content is something that I think there's earlier you were talking about how it's easy for anybody to sit here and talk on a microphone and say stuff, right? And like Jews especially, they feel so empowered to speak up. Like compared to other people, right? When you look at the Jewish influencers across the social media landscape, there's a ton out there, right? There's people doing different things, whether it's, Ruchama, she's doing the cooking, or
shout out to Ruchama.
Big Jank.
Shout out to Big Jank.
Shout out Big Jank. He obviously wears a Star of David, but he's not like putting out Jewish content. So for you, how do you think of your Jewish content strategy relative to strategy around Iron Dome Coffee and Israel?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. I mean, something that people, I think, don't realize is that I'm not like trying to be an influencer. It's kind of funny. I'm just.
So you don't call yourself an influencer?
Absolutely not. No, this is my job. I have to post content to get followers to the page so that they can buy coffee. I'm not out here trying to sway people's opinions. I'm trying to just unite the community around something they already believe in.
So what's the difference between you and an influencer that has a business?
I'm paying influencers to bring people to my page, and to sway their decisions. Right? So influencers will hopefully get people to buy my coffee. That's a decision that they can impact, right?
Okay.
And that can be monetized. And that's something that I can put into a spreadsheet and do calculations and say, okay, how much would I like to pay this person? How much do I expect in return?
Right.
But anyway, with the content game, I do find that it's unbelievably unfair towards Jewish people. And I have so many examples of this. I mean, the first thing is that on specific platforms, you have to dance around certain words, especially those that relate to Israel, because they will not push your content because they see it as highly political. And it's like, okay, what's highly political about the homeland of the Jewish people? To me, I understand it has become highly politicized, but I would love to see a day where it's not, because it shouldn't be, genuinely. Right. And another thing is that I was banned from Instagram because it got mass reported, right? It was absolutely nuts. And the crazy part about that to me was that Instagram upheld the ban and kept it for a week. And I had to, I started off incredibly rational and reasonable and said, hey, here's evidence that I have. And I collect it. People are out here doing crazy things. That's just stone cold evidence that I can use if I ever get banned to present my case to Facebook or to whoever.
Right.
And I gave it all to them, and they just completely brushed me off like I was nothing. And it really bothered me.
Interesting.
So eventually, over time, I just became more and more Israeli. And I said, listen, like, this is absolutely unbelievable. And if you don't help me get my page back, like, I'm going to talk about this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I did. And everybody really felt that story because it's just completely unjust. And when I reached out to all these other Jewish influencers that I've worked with, they said, like, yeah, get used to it. This is something that happens. And it's crazy for me because entire company is reliant on advertising.
Right.
You know, I'm running ads on social media. The reason that I started this company is because I'm taking advantage of a wave for companies to grow on social media. And it's like, wow, if you're forget only a pro-Israel business, but a Jewish business, like this is one of the roadblocks that you're going to have, that not only you're going to get reported, but the platforms aren't going to undo the bans when they're unjust. It's completely unbelievable.
Right.
And yeah, like I was banned for a week. And like, you know, in that short week, you know, fewer people saw my ads. I didn't get to post. People were like, where were you? The influencer marketing partnerships that I had were posted and people were like, where's the account? I can't find it. So that's just money down the drain.
Right.
And it's like, that really impacted me. So thankfully, I needed to let people know. I needed to say like, guys, this is what happened to me. And like, this is unbelievable. And that's the one thing that I love more than anything about our community is that they see it and they know exactly what that feels like. You know, people think of anti-Semitism in a vacuum. It's like, no, everybody has an experience of where you have either felt anti-Semitism or where you have purposefully navigated specific situations so that you could avoid experiencing anti-Semitism.
Interesting.
Yeah, like people feel it, people know it. So when I told that story to people, they're like, yeah, like this kid's one of us, and we all feel that. So you know, when I get banned, everyone feels like they got banned.
Right.
What's the difference between me and them? There's nothing.
Right.
So yeah, I mean, thankfully the community used it as a rallying point, and I'm so happy that that's the case because you know, fighting for Israel on social media is so difficult.
Yeah.
It's like it's just on it. Like I feel it, you know, it's difficult.
Yeah.
That being said, there's not like it's fun. You know, I like a challenge. I like feeling like I need to access the chess part of my brain and try to figure out how to win the game. That to me gets me out of bed in the morning. But it's like, wow, I can really understand why a lot of people begin and why they stop. And to me, it's a travesty, but it's also something that I could grasp. I understand why.
Yeah, I always laugh when like I go to your page and I see the what was the video? I probably has like 200K now or something, but the video of like you literally filling up a cup of coffee and there's like an Israeli flag and it's like, if you don't support Israel, you're crazy. And then it's just like the comments are nuts. But I don't know. I think those people are completely irrational, and I personally don't like to give a platform to them. And I mean, at the end of the day, man, like, they're helping your business. Like how
They don't get it.
How much? This is a question that nobody's going to ask you.
Okay.
But how much credit do you give to those people that hate you, that blow up your page, and give you more business?
Okay, so here's the unfiltered, honest answer.
Okay, that's what we want to hear.
It is a little scary at times, especially in the beginning.
Yeah.
It did tweak me.
Yeah.
Seriously. It did tweak me because I was like, wow, like the sheer volume of it is like nuts.
Yeah.
People are crazy. Online, people are insane. And I mean, look, we all knew that, but now it's directed at me.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, you know what I mean? That's crazy. That's scary. So in the beginning, it was like, yeah, that's unbelievable. But then you consider, okay, what if you zoom out and make this bigger than myself, right? And what is actually going on here on a structural level, right? This hatred is not rooted in any sort of intellectualism. Like it's stupidity.
Yeah.
You can't even ask these people why they hate Israel without them giving you a completely nonsensical response. A lot of people don't know why they're even on the side that they're on, which to me is wrong in anything. You should be able to advocate for anything that you do.
Yeah.
Like that's how I tend to approach life. And it's like these people have no idea why they're on the side that they're on, and even some of the people who do try to advocate in my comment section or whatever are using what they see as evidence and logic that isn't even true. The arguments that they bring up are false. So it's like, how do you even engage in a discussion with someone like that? And this is something that I see absolutely everywhere. You know, I recently watched a big podcast between Douglas Murray, Dave Smith, and Joe Rogan. Really good stuff. Yeah, but it's really good stuff. And one thing that I noticed is that this discussion that's been taking place, especially since October 7th, but it's been taking place for decades between people who support Israel and people who support, Palestine.
Right.
Is that it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Why?
Never.
It's because the two sides have completely different ideas of what's going on in reality. And when I view it in the most objective terms that I can, I see that the side that I'm on tends to win these arguments more times than not.
Right.
And it tends to be more rooted in rationality than emotions. You know, like people arguing with emotions don't really tend to be on our side.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
and we still feel, hey, that doesn't mean that we don't feel. We feel to the furthest extent. I feel to the greatest extent every single day. But I have plenty of friends who have no relation to Israel in terms of who they are, and they completely understand what we go against as a community. It's I'm happy that, especially since everything's been, turning since October 7th, people have begun asking why. And the people who really delve deeply into it and do research and educate themselves, they end up being on the side of Israel, and they see this unbelievable obstacle that they face.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's my answer.
It's a good answer. I like it. It's a tough question. Where was I going with this? I think on the topic of, so I know you don't consider yourself an influencer, but I think we can both agree you are a content creator because you make content.
Sure.
Right? We can both agree on that?
Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. So you're a content creator. And me personally, I think the market on Instagram, on TikTok, whatever, YouTube Shorts, it is oversaturated with Israel content, which is why I don't focus on Israel content.
Yeah.
It's almost like annoying how a lot of people are on Instagram and saying like, yeah, I support Israel. Like I don't know. At least for me, it's like, Bill Belichick always says like, do your job, right? Like that's his thing. Do your job, right? If you don't have the platform to talk about Israel in the correct way, it's almost better not to do it, right? Because theoretically, here's my argument. Theoretically, if you're talking about Israel on Instagram now and you're vocal about it, but you don't have the platform, you're just going to get more hate, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think there needs to be more done off the platform, like actually in person, right? For example, like what Zach Sage is doing is phenomenal.
Yeah, he's great.
Like I feel like he's one of these, I guess he is technically an influencer. He's one of these influencers that are like, is actually doing stuff, right? Like it's so easy to make a video about yourself and post it and have it be about Israel and talk about Israel. So for you, what's your case? Like, why should you not be considered in the bucket of, I shouldn't be using my platform to talk about Israel?
Here's the thing though. I do think that everyone who can defend Israel should at least try. One, because society has a way of swaying you out of it. So it's good to know the reasons why you stick with it. And if you don't, if you don't use it, you lose it.
Right.
I have plenty of friends that I call up from time to time. And there's one in particular, he knows who he is, but we just talk to each other all the time. And I'm like, all right, let's talk about Israel. Right. And let's just give me all of the arguments that you would have against Israel if you were on the other side. Like, let's go down the philosophical line.
By the way, did you ever use ChatGPT to do that?
I have not.
Okay,
actually.
it's fun. Definitely do it.
Really?
Remember I texted you. I'm like, by the way,
Yes.
use ChatGPT to like have an argument about Israel. And like, I mean, listen, it's a good way to like just keep yourself sharp. But
Yeah.
Anyway,
Okay, I'll
continue.
try it out.
Yeah.
But anyway, the thing is, it's like you never know. Like a lot of these people who are influencers, and it's not like I'm talking like, oh, I don't want to be. Like, I would love to be as successful as they are in what they're doing. I'm just not there yet, right? And that's not where I devote my time. Like, I'm still like, I'm more of a digital marketer than an influencer.
Sure.
Truthfully.
Sure.
And part of that is making content to distribute to people. But I am beginning to get other people to do it. So that is working nicely. But the point is, though, a lot of these people don't know that they're going to be successful before they start, obviously.
Yeah.
So everybody who tries is like taking a shot on goal.
Yeah.
And you never know. Like, I don't know exactly what people like Zach Sage Fox's, what their story was in terms of how he became so successful. But I have a feeling that it didn't start with, okay, I'm going to become who I am now.
Right.
It didn't start with him saying, hey, I'm going to become this unbelievable, force in the community.
Yeah.
I think it just started with people, just seeing what they can do. And I think the biggest thing is something that I've dealt with forever, and just, being completely blunt and honest about it, is that every time you veer from what's considered to be normal, people are going to laugh at you. And that's enough to make people not even take that shot on net.
Yeah.
So then it's like, why are you complaining when you don't score? Like, people who are, envious of those influencers are, they come up with these reasons and delusions as to why they don't deserve it. And to me, it's completely nonsense. You didn't take the shot. Stop complaining. you know? And I think for people to love Israel and want to defend Israel, and they look up to people who might even be younger than them.
Yeah.
It's like, just do it. Like, just
Right.
take the shot. Like, what people say about you does not matter, especially if you're doing positive things in the world. And that's the roadblock that most people in almost everything, you know, that's the one that they tend to stumble over.
So are you saying that everybody should be making content about Israel, or everyone should be spreading content about Israel?
Well, here's the thing. I think everybody should be making content, period.
Right.
Why? Because
I think
it's
we can
not
both
the
agree on that,
future,
yeah.
it's the present.
Yeah.
And like people, like, yeah, listen, do people laugh at me for, you know, even for this, we're in a
People
studio.
laugh at me, yeah.
Who cares? It's like, oh my God, you do not realize that the entire world is digital, and it's going to be exponentially more digital in the coming years, and we're going to have a crazy head start on people, and they're going to be like, oh, you started. It's like, it's just so, you know what I mean? Like, if there is a clear best move on the chessboard and you're looking to win the game, you should make the move.
Right.
You know, and even in the actual game of chess, people are sometimes worried, like in actual, you know, competitive chess, they're worried, oh, this move is going to be seen as hyper aggressive, or like, it doesn't, there is a best move.
Yeah.
Like, make the best move.
Right.
It's so obvious to me. So, listen, I'm not saying that I didn't have my fair share of insecurities when I began. It was very scary to press post for the first time, but thank you to all of my friends out there, including people like you who pushed me to do it.
Yeah.
And that's what being a friend is. It's like, if somebody wants something, you help push them towards the finish line. You help push them towards the starting, you know, the starting point. And whenever I have friends that tell me about their dreams and what they hope to accomplish, you know, when you think of your long-term goals, I feel like it's my job, it's my responsibility to help pay it forward, and to I was almost bullied into pushing the post button, and I appreciate my friends more than anything for that, because I wouldn't be here already, and I wouldn't be wherever I will be.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be wherever I will be if it weren't for them.
Right. But I guess my argument is that if everybody created content, who would be watching it, you know?
Well, the interesting thing is that the consumption of content has gone up significantly. One, because of TikTok, they've been able to, you know, almost squeeze the maximum content watching just from people, if that makes it, like, they're able to get the most content watched out of any given user.
Yeah.
So now that people are on that platform and other platforms have adapted, like content, especially short form video content, has just gone absolutely nuts.
Yeah.
And there's a reason for it. You know, there's so many people who are just doom scrolling, you know, all day, every day. And listen, I do it from time to time. It's one of the things that I've tried to cut down on to increase productivity. But there are people who just scroll all day. So it's like, yes, there are a lot of consumers, and yes, there are a lot of creators, but what does that require from you?
Right.
It requires you to be, one, you need to be good, and two, you need to really put out volume. Like, you really need to be able to put out multiple pieces of content every day for a long period of time, or don't expect to go anywhere with anything.
Yeah. No, I mean, I've realized that. Like, I'm a year and a half in, and I post, you know, twice a week when I should be when I should be posting probably like once a day. But, you know, that's the story for another time. But yeah, I think social media is funny because, you know, I listen to like all these big personal development guys. Like, I mean, Gary Vee, for one, is an awesome guy.
Yeah.
Like, he knows his stuff. And then also Ed Milet, who's like my favorite podcaster, Andy Elliott, like all these guys, they talk about, you know, they obviously are putting out content, but you know, the other side of that, it's like, you know, you're giving people an addiction, right, by putting out this content. And I don't know, I think there's some ethical dilemma here where it's like, if you're posting like the dumbest content in the world and it's like sucking people in, like, are you really helping people? But me personally, like, the educational content is where it's at. And, you know, every piece of content, I think there's got to be like three things to it. I've learned it's like, there has to be some sort of like element of surprise. So like when you're, or like when you're creating a piece of content, like the biggest thing that like I try and do is like on the, and I don't know if you do this, but like on the cover photo or the thumbnail, you set an expectation, right? You say like, here's what's going on, right? First, you got to exceed that expectation. That's the first step. So whatever the video is has to exceed that. The next thing is that there has to be some sort of educational piece to it. So, you know, when you're on your phone, you're getting this dopamine rush, and you know, whether that educational piece is like, oh, I learned how to laugh or I learned how to do this, whatever. I think that's part of it. And then another piece is like, it has to be entertaining. So that could be funny. It could be like crazy. It could be like sad, whatever it is, like it has to be entertaining. So I don't know, when you're making content, like what are you thinking about?
Okay. Yeah, that's a great question. The first thing is it relevant, right?
Yeah.
Like I try to, I don't know, there's some like current events that I try to talk about. Those do fine. But it's really the pieces about the like promotional piece about the coffee tend to do the best.
Yeah.
And also, sometimes when they just spiral out of control with the haters, those do well too. And they end up attracting positive viewers as well. So even though they bring negative users, they bring positive users.
Right.
So what are some things that I tend to focus on? It's really the B-roll, which is like the footage that's while you're talking, it's showing on the screen, has to be really good. And you have to have a lot of it. One thing that I found that was really, really helpful for me is that if you go back, I used to love Nickelodeon. And if you go back and watch the Nickelodeon shows, there is some sort of I just want to say there's something going on every 2 seconds where it's like, even if it's like a little sound effect in the background or the camera's cutting to something else, it's like they know that children have incredibly low attention spans.
Yeah.
You know, like they just can't focus.
Yeah.
And one thing that social media has obviously done to everyone is make a bunch of adults like children in that regard.
Yeah.
Right. So you have to make content as though you're pitching to you know, like a 2010s age child, you know what I mean? With that level of focus. And like, it's, I know it sounds like a bit of a diss, but it's not really. It's just, that's where you have to meet people where they are.
Right.
And people don't focus, you know, like nobody reads anymore. That makes me so sad, by the way.
What do you mean I read?
Anymore. Yeah, but it's like, you know, like people don't read. It's like, cause they're so, if you scroll and you're so used to scrolling and your attention span gets so cooked like that, it's like, you're not going to be able to, your imagination is just fried. Right. So like you need to be able to, stay in line with what's doing that, you know, like you have to provide like visual stimuli, auditory stimuli. It's like you have to just get into the flow of like, I have certain sound effects that I have favorited and I have certain B-roll that I have favorited.
Yeah.
And if I feel like I'm on camera talking for too long, I'll throw one of those in there. Yeah. And like when I succeed, like certain videos that get tens of thousands of views, especially when it comes to promotional content about the coffee, they do tend to have videos of Israel, and people love to see videos of Israel. It makes them feel a little bit connected. You know, it connects the coffee to those images they have in their head. Right. So the ones that do well, you know, that bring in followers, that bring in sales and things of that nature, they do all tend to leave people feeling like they were just in Israel. You know?
Okay. So I know I asked you, and I was thinking about this earlier today, like I asked you, like on our first interview, like the experience that you want people to have when they're drinking a cup of coffee, but you hadn't launched Iron Dome Coffee yet. So I don't think that was a fair question to ask. So I don't even know if it's like still a fair question to ask, but you know, last time we kind of talked about how when people drink a cup of Iron Dome coffee, it's like, oh, they want to support Israel, whatever. They take a sip of coffee, whatever. And then I did that whole shtick where it was like, oh, what if somebody spits it out, whatever. How has your perception of the product experience changed since you've launched?
So I remember the story too, where I said, hey, it would be unbelievable if someone who previously didn't have a connection to Israel now does because of this coffee company. Right. And what's unbelievable is that not only has that happened, but that's happened so much that it just grants me the greatest sense of fulfillment possible. Yeah. You know, like seeing people connect with Israel and seeing someone, especially who's like just a guy from New York. Like, you know, I live in New York City. I'm just a guy, you know, people think of like people who support Israel and Jews. They have this image in their head that's once again, just completely not rooted in evidence or rationality. Like whatever, I'm just the guy. And like when people see me support Israel and they're like, wait, somebody like this guy that I probably just walked past in New York City also supports Israel, you know, like, wait, I thought it was only for those crazy Zionists who are, you know, controlling the weather, or like whatever people say, you know.
Did you make it rain today, by the way?
Yeah, I actually did. I put a phone call in to my supplier. He was like, yeah, let's make it rain.
Okay, perfect. Cause like I'm trying to have it rain, man.
Yeah.
So what do you need to add to your content? Like, I know we talked kind of off camera about, you know, adding some comedy, adding some flair, like,
Yeah. So
How are you going to do that?
it's funny because I've always listen, I'm kind of a silly person if you know
Kind
behind
of.
the camera.
You should just like record like your Uber rides, man. Like that would blow.
I'm very friendly, you know. He's talking about when I go
Very
in Uber.
overly friendly.
I don't know if there's such thing as overly friendly, but I like to make friends. So I'll always talk with people and I'll hear some stories about them, and it's a really fun time. But I like to be silly with it, you know. And that's one of the things that you know, it's part of my identity too. Like I'm like I try to be funny, but the thing is though, I kind of one thing that's always been true about me is that I'm very authentic around people that I'm very comfortable with, and I really am very selective about who I keep close to me.
Yeah.
So it's a little weird to be in front of a camera and to need to be yourself in front of whoever wants to see it.
Right.
It's not something that I'm used to, honestly, but it's something that I've gotten a bit better at, and it's because there is a valuable means to it.
Yeah.
Right? When I am myself on the camera, it ends up bringing people to Israel. It brings up bring them closer emotionally to Israel.
Right.
And that to me is unbelievably beautiful. And it's like, all right, Justin, like part of the challenge of running your own company is you're going to have to be just unequivocally authentic. And it's scary.
Yeah.
You know, even just here, we're just chatting. And I feel like I've already been myself more so than I would be if a crowd of whoever, you know, watches this would be actually in front of me.
Right.
But it's something that I completely anticipate mastering. You know, like I'm 23 years old and I'm 2 months into starting a company. What will this be in 2 years?
Yeah.
What will this be in 20 years?
Yeah.
What will I be as a CEO in
Yeah.
20 years? Like, I think that will be something that I can crush. I
Yeah.
just need to continue learning how, and I'm doing that by the day.
Do you feel like it's hard to be, and you kind of answered this already, but at least for me, like on camera, when I'm doing like these interviews, obviously like I'm authentic, and like being in person, it's a game changer. But when I'm like recording a video or like whatever, I don't know, for the weird, like, and I told you this, like my solo episodes, they're the hardest thing that I have to do. Like I hate them. It's like I have to release them because like, you know, I have to add more episodes and add a little bit more flair in my podcast. But like, honestly, I hate them because it's like I'm talking to a wall. Literally, I'm talking to a wall. There just happens to be a camera in front of there. So I don't know. Do you feel like when you're making those videos of like, yeah, support Iron Dome coffee, like if you truly support Israel, you'll drink Iron Dome coffee. Like, do you feel like that is your authentic self?
Absolutely. Yeah, that's like where I get to be, because it's true, and there are ways to prove it. That to me has always been a big thing, like evidence. You know, I would say I'm largely an evidence-based person in terms of what I consider to be like parts of myself. So when I think about, hey, like, do I love Israel? Right? It's not something, even something so basic that's obviously a yes. Even something like that, I could answer that question. And most people would like think about it and be like, what's the answer? That's not how I think of things. I'm like, what are specific things that I've done that would suggest an onlooker to pick their answer?
Right.
Because that's true, you know? And I would say that if you look at what I've done, you know, I'm devoting my entire life here to running a company that supports Israel in the most politically tumultuous time in history in America.
Yeah.
So that to me is evidence. Like everybody who looks on will be able to say like, okay, like, yeah, what he is saying and doing is true because there's proof of it, you know?
Right.
With everything else, it's like when you are challenged to just put yourself in front of a microphone day after day after day and speak about whatever is relevant that day, certain things come out more certain things are higher quality than other things, you know? And like the thing that is okay with me though is that the market reflects that, you know, there is like a natural hand of the market. Like you make a good video, you get views. Yeah. You make a bad video, you don't. Right. You make a good advertisement, you sell coffee. You make a bad one, you don't. It's like that to me is like, once again, that's evidence. Like, how are you doing? How are you measuring the job that you're doing? It's like there are many metrics that can be used to see how you're doing. Right. And I tend to trust those because they're the ones that are universal, you know, and those are the ones that I can use to compare to other companies. Like even in terms of things like return on ad spend and, you know, all these, the entrepreneurial jargon is absolutely ridiculous. The CPA and the CPC and ROAS, it's like it's all jargon, but it's one thing. These are all metrics that you can use to compare yourself to people who have already succeeded, and you can use their advice to help guide your decision making. Right. It's evidence.
So as a young entrepreneur, and this is something that like I don't know if I've necessarily found a mentor. I have people that like I go to for advice or whatever, but like for me, like my guests, I'll go to them if like I have a question or like to catch up or whatever. And you know, obviously I go to you and you help me with a lot of stuff. But I don't know if you're like I don't know if I can call you a mentor.
Please
though.
don't. Please
Like I
don't.
feel like that's like it's like
Please
somebody
don't.
that's like older.
Yeah.
But for you, like who do you have like people that like you routinely talk with about business and stuff and that like have actually been doing stuff, or is it
Absolutely.
you're kind of just like raw dogging the shit?
Yeah, so there's definitely a degree of that. But another thing is that I do feel fortunate enough to. It's like almost all of my friends are doing their own thing.
Yeah.
Like seriously, it's crazy,
That's
and
nuts.
that's like completely irregular. And you have to ask yourself why. Why does that happen? And it's because I'm naturally drawn to people who go against the grain and take risks. And
Yep.
people like that start their own thing and
Yeah.
they shoot the shots on net and
Yeah.
they do all of these things. And I think that's an amazing thing. So when I started my company, it was largely inspired by the people around me. And I would never, ever, ever say like, oh, it was all me. It was not like, no, I was completely fortunate enough to be in a circle of friends and, you know, even friends, friends and their networks, and where it's just
Yeah.
like, this is now I've joined a new community.
Yeah.
It's like part of my identity too. And in addition to the Israel and the Judaism component, it's like, wow, I've really begun to get my feet wet as an entrepreneur, and I
Yeah.
feel like I belong there. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I feel like I'm similar in character to those people.
Mm-hmm.
And there's such a weight around, oh, you're an entrepreneur. It's like, dude, you don't even need to be a good one at the beginning.
Yeah.
I'm just one of them. And I
Yeah.
get better every day. And I'm willing to look like an idiot while I begin to learn how to dance so that I can learn how to do cool moves when I get better. That's
Right.
how I feel as an entrepreneur.
Right.
So, yes, there have been like specific friends, and they know who they are that have helped me. And everyone brings something new to the table. Like I have specific friends who crush it with digital advertising.
Yep.
I have friends who crush it with emails. I have friends who crush it with, you know, behind the scenes like content creation and things
Yeah.
like that. And they're so great. And it's even then, it's like it's not like I look at them like I expect them to help me grow my business. It's just like I have put people around me anyway who I would like to learn from and who I would like to rub off on me. They say you're a culmination of the 5 people who are closest to you.
Yeah.
There's no truer saying.
Yeah.
It's like people see, oh, I shouldn't ever change, and that there's some sort of virtue in never changing who you are. I've been the same throughout. That's total nonsense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I have
I
to hold
agree.
myself back there. Like that's nonsense.
Right.
It's like you are expected as a human being to change in a positive direction. You're expected to evolve. This is the natural order of things.
Right.
Evolve, move forward in everything you do. So if you are around people and they're rubbing off on you anyway, anyone who says I've never changed is doing something wrong. You're allowed to experiment with things. You're allowed to you know, go out into the deep end to see who you are as a person, to try new strategies. And while the other people are out there laughing at me, I'm learning.
Yeah.
That's like they don't understand it. They're willing to never learn and follow a path that's been carved a million times over because they see it as safe. And I don't see anything exciting or worthy or you know, of virtue in that safe life. I
Yeah.
just don't even want to be near it, honestly.
Yeah.
So I end up being closer to people who are you know, willing to take those risks. And it's not necessarily as an entrepreneur. Maybe it's like, you know, they've got also like a silly personality, or
Yeah.
they make jokes that I like.
Right.
Oh my God, if someone makes a joke in public that I think is like a little bit out there, that's the funniest thing in the world. Because it's like, I can't believe this person just like, that takes courage, you know, like I admire courage.
Yeah.
And the things that you admire, you tend to walk towards anyway.
Yeah.
So those are the people who, like, or that's a little bit of things who, those aren't the mentors, but I will say there are a few specific mentors that
Yeah.
I have. Some of them are like family members. Like I have my family is epic when it comes to
Yeah.
mentorship. You know, my dad paved the way.
Yeah.
My sister has like been a young entrepreneur for a long time,
Mm-hmm.
and they are just awesome influences on me.
Yeah.
Beyond that, there are certain people who are offering to me advice because they want to be mentored.
Yeah.
That to me is such a great thing to want to be in general, where it's like you want to learn as much as you can. And I was listening to somebody who I do consider to be a mentor. His name is Dan Martell. Shout out to him. He's just a guy on YouTube, and he was like he has $100 million business. He like started from nothing. He's a Canadian guy, super jacked, like studly guy.
Yeah.
And it's like, wow, like I look at this guy, I'm like, that's something that I would like to learn from.
Right.
And while I don't align neatly with every little thing he says, who says that I should, right?
Yeah.
And he doesn't say anything really so controversial, so it's not a problem, but there are specific things that he says that are unbelievably valuable to me. And they all are in this realm of growing as a person and also in entrepreneurship in general. And a lot of them do have to do with, like he says, like the people you surround yourself by rub off on you. He says that like don't be afraid to fail, like the people who are afraid to, like my mentality is it's not like a natural thing. People aren't like born with the Mamba mentality. I'm not saying that I have, but that's what I want.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I certainly felt in ways as a kid that if I really wanted something, I would stop at nothing to get it.
Right.
And part of being an entrepreneur is being able to constantly tap into that mentality every day. And it's really tiring, you know? So people like that who are in places where I would like to be, I listen to what they have to say. And it's not because like, oh, like their word is the law. It's just, hey, this person succeeded. I'd like to understand his mentality a little bit more because I'm going to put my own spin on something that was already done before. And I'm going to make my own way trying to be great in the world. And that's how I approach it.
I had a professor that would always say, like, his biggest thing was success leaves clues. And it's like the most like true thing in the world. But also going back to what you were saying earlier, you mentioned like all these guys online, like Dan Martell, for example, and like Kobe.
Great.
Like you can be mentored from people that you don't even know. It's the craziest thing in the world.
Absolutely.
It's like you think of mentorship as like sitting one-on-one and whatever, and like you do have mentors like that. Oh, by the way, it's actually raining right now. That's crazy.
Welcome. You are welcome.
It like just started raining during the interview. That's insane.
I put in a secret phone little text in the background.
like mid interview.
Yeah,
I
snuck it.
didn't see it. That's crazy. What I was saying earlier is like you could be mentored by somebody online. It's not going to be like direct one-on-one, but the success that like, I don't know, at least like for my podcast, right? Like the success that I've had has come from watching other podcasts and other clips and watching people do this and listening to podcasts or whatever. So it's like, I don't know, people and going back to like how people spend their time now, like I think a lot of people waste their fucking time right now. Like
No doubt.
Like it's good to be on your phone. I absolutely think it's good to be on your phone.
Yeah.
But what's your purpose of being on your phone, right? Like when I'm at work, like I'm listening to podcasts all the time. And like when I'm home, I'm on my phone, it's usually to edit videos or to call someone. So I don't know. I just think that like this idea of mentorship is like completely changing. And like, you know, we could have an entire podcast about how terrible the US education system is. And like, I mean, we both went to very good schools and like we're sitting here now. Like, does our degree really mean anything? You know, it's like, it's just it's kind of like a badge of honor now. So, anyway, I know we're wrapping up soon. So
that went by so fast.
I know, man. It flies. I'm telling you, it flies. I was looking at the clock and I was like,
so
I saw 54 minutes, and then I saw and then I turn again. I see 27. I'm like, what the hell? Final question for you. So this is actually from somebody who I've been learning with. I'm stealing his question. So shout out Svi. This is his question. I'm stealing
Who's
it.
Svi, by the way?
What?
Who's
I learned with him like once. So Partners in Torah, by the way, great program. Basically, you get paired with somebody to learn Torah, and you can either teach or you can either learn Torah. So it's phenomenal program.
Great.
So one of the first things that like we were talking about, and Svi's like very into psychology, is he said his favorite question, and again, this is all Svi's credit. This is not my question, not original at all. Is what are people's biggest misconceptions about you?
Oh, that's a great question that I would sit and think about if we were on the clock here. What are people's misconceptions? Well, I started off saying that people think I'm like some influencer or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what it is? It's that I will tell you the biggest misconception about me is that I've always tried. You said success leaves clues. I would say just everything you do is evident in terms of the way that you behave.
Yeah.
And I've always behaved in a way where I have tried to do something meaningful in this world. And I know that sounds very, that's like a big claim to make. But when I consider all of the people that I look up to, and they range, man, like they really range. Like it goes from there's no need to, I don't even have time, but there's so many people that I look up to in the world, be it people that I have come into contact with, people that are part of my family, different mentors, like you said, who go on YouTube and talk about their content. This is applicable to everyone. I don't want to give specific examples, but like think about who you admire. And this is something that everybody behind the screen can think, like this is a thinking exercise. Who do you admire? What do you think that they did to get what they are? Like, how did you think that they became where they are? And the obvious answer that's applicable to every single one of them is that they went against the grain.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't understand genuinely how a person can expect to live a meaningful life if they just do what's expected of them from birth until death. Like, you are a human being and there is a voice inside of you that's begging you to follow some path. And if you don't follow that path to any degree whatsoever, you're stealing a good life from yourself. And David Goggins, one of these guys I talk about all the time, he says like, he gives the thought exercises like, what if you passed away and God in heaven said, you're gonna look at the person that you could have become. And it just brings so much shame to the current version of you that scrolls for hours and wastes their time. It's like the biggest misconception about me is that I'm not doing this because I think it's expected of me. I'm not doing this because it's corny and I'm trying to please everybody. Like, this is the path that I have paved for myself since I was a little kid. And I believe that this is the right way to go about life. And everybody has offered either criticism or advice or positive feedback. And it's like, I say this in the most objective way possible. Like, I've never cared. I just don't care. Like, this is bigger. It's bigger than me. You know what I mean? It's like, I've been inspired and I've written like hundreds of pages that I've published about specific people who have inspired me deeply. And it's because they were authentically themselves. They went against the grain and they were positive forces in their community and for the world. And that's exactly who I'm trying to become. And every day I wake up in the morning and I figure, hey, how can I be my own rendition of these specific people? And it makes me want to cry when I even say that.
Wow. That's a good one. I know we're clipping that one. Goggins, by the way, I know we only have 2 minutes left, but there's this crazy story of him. I'll send you the episode. He talks about how he was like training for like like an ultra marathon, like 100 miles or something. And he talks about like how he did it just like off the rip, no training. And he's so psychotic.
It's nuts.
That, wait, listen to this. He's like sitting in the bathtub, and this is like getting graphic. He's like literally peeing out blood, like because he like ran so dehydrated. He's sitting there in the bathtub and like whatever, his assistant or his wife is like trying to help him out. And he's like, they're like, we're taking you to the hospital. He's like, no, I want to sit here and feel my pain. Like, I earned this pain. And I'm like, like he's like, I'm psycho. Like, he's another level of psycho. Like, he's
you got to wonder why. I always wonder, why does he want it so bad? Even success, like, why does he want it so bad? I would love to know the answer.
He's an animal.
Yeah.
Well, Justin, thank you for coming back to Schmoozing Time. Any final thoughts as we're wrapping up here?
The DMV is home.
DMV
is home.
You moving here?
DMV is home. I don't know, man. I love it here, though. I feel like I just love it here.
Come
I got embraced this week, and it's like I spend a year here, obviously, in Maryland, and it's just like it feels like home. So, well,
we're not going to start this conversation now, but if you ask some people, Baltimore is not part of the DMV, so don't go around.
Is that a thing? We have like, is Central Jersey a thing?
It's a thing. We don't want to get into this debate now,
okay,
but
next pod.
Thank you for coming on, man. Schmoozers, go share this episode with someone. I mean, if you listen to like this episode compared to last episode with Justin, I can tell you 10 times better, even though like that episode was good too. But share it with someone. Justin's amazing. Until next time, keep schmoozing.
Keep schmoozing.
Keep schmoozing. All right, we're good. Let's go.
Dude.
That was good.
That was
Completely
awesome.
off the rip. That was
awesome.
We did
Thank you, bro.
zero preparation.
Wow.
Zero.
Give me a hug.
I'm so glad you enjoyed this week's episode of Schmoozing Time. Thank you so much for tuning in. In addition to sharing this episode with someone, make sure you follow on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and YouTube Shorts. Also, make sure you're following the show on Apple Podcasts and or Spotify. Till next time, keep schmoozing.